Hi everyone, welcome to the ElectricmotorGP show. My name is Nee and I'm your usual host. And I'm trying to do a video. So I'm going to have to do it in two parts. And the two parts will favor this particular one that we're doing at the moment, which is going to be BYD's blunder and the real world impact of that blunder versus another aspect that we've got to deal with at the moment, which I'm a part of. And it will lead to the second part of the video, which I'll do next after this. But let's talk about the BYD blunder. So hold on to your screens and I will walk you through what's going on. So BYD, in chasing down sales targets, massive error. Now, I mentioned this earlier on, and this could have happened to anyone. It's not, because I've spoken to some people on the inside, and what they've told me was the software system that they were using, because BYD's got some new partners who are not used to the checks that they're supposed to. That's how BYD got caught out. Right, so I'm just going to pause for a moment. I just want you to be aware, if you haven't liked, share, and subscribe, please like, hit the notification bell, because we've got a fantastic event coming in from the 19th of November to the 22nd of November. This one is one that you've got to pay attention to. If you live in Western Australia, you're going to definitely want to be here. It's going to be loud, live, and you're going to get access to so many things that you want to see. So like, share, and subscribe, and save the dates 19th to the 22nd of November. So basically what happened, I'll walk you through the blunder. BYD's chasing sales figures. They want to be number one in Australia. They want to chase down Toyota, and they're doing a fantastic job of doing that. They're not likely to catch up with Toyota this year. And Toyota's aware of this, that they're being hunted down by BYD. And the initial delays that you would normally get from a Toyota, because people were waiting up to 6 months to a year for a car, Toyota's managed to find 10,000 cars from somewhere to offset the delays. So if you're trying to get a Toyota RAV4, for example, instead of waiting 6 to 12 months, you are waiting 4 to 8 months at the moment. So in chasing this down, BYD's been ramping up and bringing cars in. Some of those cars were here before, some of those cars just got shipped. Now, I did a video earlier on, and I got a lot of flack for this, in saying that the strategy that BYD is using is going to hamper itself, because it's bringing in stock that I felt were old stock and not the new models, because BYD is trying to catch up. Now, the new models are having a bit of a backlog because BYD Blade 2 batteries, the ramping up of the builds has not been able to keep up with the demand of the cars within China and externally. Because if you had the option of picking up BYD Blade 1 car or a BYD Blade 2 car, you're most likely going to go for a BYD Blade 2. And I got a lot of flack for it. I said, this is going to cause problems. And barely 3 weeks after that, or 2 weeks after that, BYD got into trouble. Now, there are two parts to this issue that BYD got wrong. First of all is, look, you're bringing in cars in bulk, ensure that there's a standardized operating system for everybody, irrespective of which brand that you're coming from, to know that, look, this is how we onboard cars and this is how we onboard the customer to say this is your car, to make sure that there's no issues. The second problem is, once the problem was identified, lowballing your consumers is never a good look, because you've made an error. And if you've made an error, lowballing your consumers just makes them feel bad. Worse, it impacts on your reputation, because it means that people don't think you're going to take the best decision for them when you make a mistake. So I'm going to then go into the nitty-gritty of it. BYD brought in cars. These cars were, from what I was told from the sources I had, the cars were fundamentally November, December 2025. And therefore, the book paper for them should be 2025. but they were sold as 2026. Why is this a problem? When it's now time for you to sell your car in 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to have the badge number of 2025 rather than 2026, which means the resale value of your car is likely to be a lot lower than it should be if it was a 2026. So the 2025 stamp will definitely affect its MAC evaluation at the time to sell or trade in. It doesn't matter what the amount of mileage the car has done, the 2025 badge or stamp is going to affect the resale value. So that's the fundamental problem. BYD found out about this because a few people ran their VINs and found out that the car was badge 2025 and 2026. And BYD then decided to say, we were going to offer you $1,100 as compensation, which is effectively the delivery fee. The only problem was the MAC evaluation of your car is likely to be significantly impacted beyond $1,100. Now, there was a specific guy, this was in one of the newspapers, one of the reports, and I can't remember which company I read the details from, made a counter offer of $3,000. But BYD turned that down. So the PR guys that you've got, they need to do a little bit more. They need to understand to pull the customers in and think about reputational damage. And I think that's where they got this wrong. 3,000, 5,000, once you had a counter offer of 3,000, even if it was $500 extra as goodwill or $1,000 extra as goodwill, put that onto everything that you wanted to sell. All of a sudden, most of the people would have said yes. Most. And this would not have escalated. Better still, it would have improved your reputation with consumers. One of the best stories I've ever come across when I was training, I have a weird background, a statistician as well as management experience. But one of the best stories I ever came across, and you'll find this online as well, was Dyson. Dyson's customer service was always such that it made you feel like you were valued. So you'd call them to say you had a part problem, you had an issue, you had something. This is in England. I don't know how it works in Australia, but this is in England. And Dyson will send you the part, apologize for whatever issues that you've had, and ask you if you needed any help with getting the part and everything else fixed. And for the most part, most people who bought a Dyson would not leave or buy any other brand because they felt that they were looked after by Dyson. It's a little trick. It's a customer service thing. You are locked in. Now, the PR director, Paul Ellis, has publicly apologized and said there was no deceit and no deceit intended. I've spoken to sources and they've explained to me that no, it wasn't a planned deceitful thing. It was a logistics thing because one company uses one software and therefore their software is a little bit more detailed, and a few of the other dealerships do not use that software. So the difference in software meant that the checks were not fully done, and because there was a difference in the checks that were being done between the two different branches, so one branch didn't have any problems at all and one branch had a lot of problems, it was a software issue. So that's the internal information that I've gotten. And it was a tracking system, so it was a software issue. The problem is not the software issue, the problem is what was done after the problem was identified. The fact that 1,000 customers were involved meant this should have been buried straight away. Everything should have been done to make those consumers feel like they were looked after. Now, even if it was just the one consumer that had this problem, they probably should have been treated better. Now, ABC got involved. Now this thing's growing. It's spectacularly getting out of hand. BYD is now offering a full refund for anyone who's been involved in this, and they're going to have to try and sort this out. If you'd offered $5,000, $4,000, $3,000 to the 1,200 people, and you assume that 1,000 of them accepted your $5,000 offer, let's say 5,000 to make it easy, that's 5 million. And you have 300 that decide that they're going to say, we want a full refund. And given the different sales of cars and everything else, we say an average, round it up. This is just ballpark analysis. $50,000 times 300. You're looking about 50 million plus. The initial 5 million makes 20 million. Versus 1,200 people that are going to take a refund now, and you're looking at over 60 million people, $60 million, less the cost of a resale of the second-hand values of the cars. And you're going to take a hit because the second-hand values of the cars are not going to be anywhere near the prices of the original cars, no matter what it is you're saying. So you would have saved yourself roughly about $45 million. This is PR 101. Keeping the consumer happy, but also understanding the bigger ballpark figure. So I don't know, I do that. Right, so I'm just going to pause for a moment. I just want you to be aware, if you haven't liked, share, and subscribe, please like, hit the notification bell because we've got a fantastic event coming in from the 19th of November to the 22nd of November. This one is one that you've got to pay attention to. If you live in Western Australia, you're going to definitely want to be here. It's going to be loud, live, and you're going to get access to so many things that you want to see. So like, share, and subscribe, and save the dates 19th to the 22nd of November. So like I said, let me know your thoughts. Do you think BYD got this right? Do you think they got it wrong? Do you think I was a bit more nuanced in the fact that they should probably have tried to settle much quicker than when this got to the media? Until next one, stay blessed and I'll see you soon.